when you are faced with the potential of mortality,
how that would actually influence my choices. What would I do? And why am I not doing those things now?
we tend to not act on things until we are presented with these mortality issues.
How do we live our life to the fullest in this moment, since no moment is ever promised to us?
Challenge accepted. Let's go. And welcome to Love Always Self. I'm Shyra.
Hi, y'all. I'm Karista, and thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Love Always Self. Welcome.
Hello. Hello.
All right, man, what a day.
Yeah.
We've been busy. Have y'all been busy? Is that what life is? It's busyness? Just
Go.
yeah.
Go. Over here. No, over here. Just kidding.
Over here.
Wait.
Oh man, just left and right, all over the place.
Yeah.
Running in circles, chasing my tail.
Yeah. I watched Webster do that recently. It was actually quite entertaining. I was like, is that what I look like?
Sometimes that's what I feel like, for sure. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. I am here with my lovely co-host, Shyra.
Karista.
Hello, also known as Carrie, whatever you prefer.
It is super weird to call you Karista. just
I know,
so we're
it was
clear.
weird hearing you say it.
Is it?
I'm not going to lie.
Carrie.
Karista, like barista, but with a K.
Oh my gosh, you have to tell so many people that.
I do.
I get Shira.
Oh, my phone says Shyra whenever I call you.
I've gotten Stephanie before, and I was like, how did you get to that?
Yeah. I get Teresa.
Teresa.
Yeah, whenever I say Karista, they hear Teresa, so that's interesting. But you know what? Whatever. That's not something that I hold a grudge about.
Yeah. You know, if I could be referred to as Princess of Power, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Princess of Power.
Yeah.
It's lovely to have you on the show today.
Hey, we've talked about that glittery cape before. I'm just saying.
I know, and my glittery tutu.
Your tutu. That was freaking hilarious. If you
Yes.
haven't checked out that social media, I actually used AI to generate the art of the superhero grabbing for the girl.
That was funny. Yes.
Yeah. What was more hilarious was I was trying to match it to me, like the image of the lady being me. And so I had typed out brown girl, being saved by a
Yeah.
superhero. And it gave me a Caucasian lady with brown hair. And I was like,
Oh.
not quite there. Maybe I should be more specific. And I was like, how about a ethnically raced, mixed, half white, half black girl? And it gave me an all black lady. And I was like, we'll just go with that.
Wow. We're still working on our races AI. But you know what? It's fun to play.
It's fun to play.
I wonder if you specified like skin tone,
Well,
if that would make a difference.
I did. I tried brown skin tone, or I think I said brown skin or brown skinned. I don't remember.
but still, just did not hit the nail on the head. That's interesting.
yeah, it's very interesting. But it's ChatGPT. I use the 4+ and for all of you fellow nerds like me, and I actually pay for the subscription to ChatGPT, and so it pulls in a service called Dolly 3. The image quality is fantastic. Just don't look at the hands. There's always like way too many fingers, or like the hands are like weird looking. So just don't look at that.
You're going over my head.
Go to Instagram, check out those reels. They're awesome. Yeah.
Well, after our last episode that we recorded, you were telling us about, or telling the audience about, a situation that you had with a friend of yours. And it got me thinking, and I had a moment of reflection. And this is just like a shower moment, one of those random moments where you're just like, la, 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 nothing else is distracting you. I don't listen to music in the shower. And so I actually started thinking about, the whole like remorse and feeling of guilt, or reflecting on not letting go and these other things. And it led to a moment. Sorry, I just kind of like cut right in there and like diverted the conversation.
Welcome
But
to Love Always Self,
yeah, so, and apologies if this triggers anybody, but or if you're going through this situation, I'm not trying to minimize it by any means. However, I did have a moment where I was thinking about what if I got the news, and this is like a little daydream, but what if I got the news that I was going to die in 3 months?
Right.
How would that impact my choices going forward? And what kind of regrets would I have about the past? And I started thinking about how that would actually influence my choices. And, if something catastrophic wasn't on the verge of happening, would I be strong enough to be like, this is what I want to experience? And so I started thinking about all the things that I would want to do in this life that I would want to accomplish, whether that is going traveling someplace, learning something new, volunteering was a big one for me. Service to others is something that I love to do.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about how I would make choices differently and why, the question that dawned in my head was, why don't I make those types of choices now?
Yeah. No, that's honestly, I'm going to riff off that for a
Yeah,
second.
yeah.
Yeah. I have been presented with that possibility.
It's very true.
Shit changes your life.
Yeah.
You definitely look at things differently. And quite frankly, there are times where I have remembered that I've relapsed after healing. I've relapsed into the not going after the things that I thought about, that shit, I haven't done this yet. I want to be around because there's still so many things that I've always wanted to accomplish. And so it's fascinating to me because I do think that when you're presented with that potential, you are like, okay, let's go. These are all the things that I want to do. I'm curious, like what, like specifically, more specifically, I think, where would you want to go in the traveling aspect? Like, where would you want to be?
I think that, it's hard for me to say, to limit that, to be completely honest, because one of my dreams is to travel the world. But one of the things that I really want to do is travel to like a third world country and volunteer.
Yeah.
So whether that is in regards to wildlife or nature or humanitarian acts, health and wellness, like children, childcare, like I'm open to all of it. But that's definitely something that I've been thinking about. And it was interesting because in that daydream scenario, I started asking myself, well, why haven't I done that? And part of the answer to that question, what holds me back a little bit is, well, finances is one.
It's always the biggest one in from what I've gathered.
Yeah. It really is. That's a huge obstacle to overcome, for sure. But then the other aspect of that is, will I be supported by the people that I love in doing that?
We'll stop all this right now so you can go do that.
All right. Bye, guys.
Just kidding.
I'm taking off.
Maybe not like right this second.
But, there have been people in my life that it makes me feel like I have to, be more aware of them and their wants. And so I tend to put my wants and needs to the side, which, oh my goodness, isn't that the basis of our podcast half the time is self-care and taking care of your needs too.
Dude, but that's the thing though. That's exactly it. When you are faced with the potential of mortality, you realize how much you didn't do for yourself and how much you output for others. And what we forget all the time is, and I'm just as guilty, is how much we are not helping others by not helping ourselves. And so, because all those things, like resentment, regret, fear. There's even an acronym now, FOMO, fear of
Mm-hmm.
missing out, right? All those things are coming from our inability to take the leap and do what it is that we're called and feel like doing. There was this study done where somebody said, just go and do all the things that come to you that day. Don't hold back. Don't do anything that holds you back, right? Obviously, don't hurt people. Don't do that. If that's the first thing that's come to your head, you might want to reevaluate. But, you know,
Ooh, there's deeper reevaluation needed
right, right.
there.
Well, think about that. But what if, like, you just decided one day I'm going to just go with the flow? Anything that comes to me that feels like a great thing to do, again, safely, I'm just going to do it, right?
There was a movie that was similar to this. It was called like Yes Day or something like that.
Oh, there is. That's right.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that movie, but I heard
It
about
was
it.
pretty cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what if you did that? Like, what would be the outcome of it? Would it assist you in breaking away from the fears of everyone else's opinions and thoughts and feelings towards whatever action that brings you joy? And then I also, like, being kind of the analytical mind that I am, I'm like, why are you mad at me for wanting to embrace the things that bring me joy in the first place?
Mm.
Right? Why would you doubt that I don't want to have this experience? Is it because you're scared of my safety?
Mm-hmm.
Is that really for me or is that for you?
Mm. Oh, that's a lot of truth in there.
Mm-hmm. And me not being present and around for a small period of time in a lifetime,
Yeah.
right? Is that fear for me or is it for you? Right? Is that your service to self moment?
Mm-hmm.
Or is that a
Mm-hmm.
service to others? So those are the kind of things that I think about. It juggles around in my mind a little bit because I know that a majority of the things that I don't do is because I'm holding myself back
Mm-hmm.
and I'm overcoming my own fears within. But when somebody says, no, you can't do that, I'm like, you want to bet?
Ooh, that's a challenge, huh?
Oh, I was like, challenge accepted. Let's go. I bet I can. Yeah. But it shouldn't have to come to that.
Right.
It shouldn't have to come to that.
So I also started thinking about relationships that I have. And, sometimes in some of my relationships, I feel a little bit like resentful or like I'm having to go out of my way for somebody, bothered by, right? And there are times where I feel guilty about that feeling where I'm just like exhausted. I'm like, I can't handle another text message. And I feel an annoyance.
Yeah.
Right. And so I started thinking about that from the perspective of I only have 3 months to live. Where's that annoyance now? Or am I trying to connect more and go deeper with the people that I care about?
Yeah.
The phone calls that I haven't made to family members in months. Would I regret not deepening those connections and those relationships? Would I realize, basically it's like a reflection of what do I feel like I missed out on? So it's not just travel and it's not just service to others, but it's also, we talked about this, about the importance of connections.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are important.
And if nothing else was available, say I wasn't able to travel, like go international, like I want to, like what would I do? And why am I not doing those things now? And I can tell you part of my answer there, right? It's an excuse, but it's overwhelm in your day to day. There's too much on your plate and you haven't made space for yourself yet on that plate. And so there's no time to re-energize.
This is making me think of our retreat trip.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were there, one of the things that I watched you experience, and I felt the same way. I just, had a different reaction later on. But one of the things that I watched you experience was the relief of not having so much on your plate and not having to do all the things.
It happened multiple times.
Right.
Where I almost started crying because I didn't have to clear the table. and do my dishes.
But what's so interesting to me is that I related this exact thing in a conversation with my therapist where she asked me why I wasn't doing the channeling anymore, why I um, haven't gone into more of a public connection. I still do my within and I still talk to my
Yeah.
guides all the time. It's just, I haven't gone out of my way to help others with it. Is that when I was there at the retreat, I was able to remove all the distractions in my life. I didn't have the work. I didn't have the house chores. I didn't have the taking care of the dog. I didn't have all the family member stuff. Like I didn't have any of that stuff going on. I was just there to be present within myself and make these new connections around me. It was a relaxing environment to be in the first place and to just let go and feel free and have a freedom within experience that allowed me to do what I did when we were there. Now, granted, as soon as we left, all these things came rushing back in, and now I'm dealing with fear. And
Isn't that amazing how that works?
it is amazing how that works.
Not amazing, yay.
Not amazing, yay. I love that you said that. It should be a t-shirt. So yeah, but that's the truth of the matter is that we allow ourselves to
Get sucked back in.
to get sucked back in. And we tend to not act as a society in general, as human beings in general. We tend to not act on things until we are presented with these mortality issues. The shit, I should have done this.
And that's the unfortunate thing, because there is never a day that we are actually promised on this earth.
Never.
And I understand like that is a tragic experience, and that is never something that I would wish on somebody, like not knowing or not feeling like satisfied, I guess, in a way with your life. Like it's this life is fleeting. Before we know it, our time is up, and we are never promised a time frame in which we are present on this earth. We are never promised a day. And so it's, how do we maintain that mindset of gratitude for this moment, for this day, for this breath, for this time with this person? And how do we maintain the mindset of live our life to the fullest in this moment, since no moment is ever promised to us?
It is, in my opinion, and please don't assume I have the answers to this because I'm still struggling with it. But in my opinion, it is practicing being more present in the first place. And I can't tell you how often it is that I am somewhere else in my head of all the things I still need to do that take me away from experiencing the current. How we talked about this, right? Like how often you're having a conversation with somebody and you're thinking of the next thing to say,
Right.
which is actually you not being present currently in the conversation versus like taking a word for word and digesting it. You're still calculating all the things that are going to happen next, right? We're practice at this. Your attention spans are smaller. My attention span's smaller, right? My instant need for gratification is higher, which in order to accomplish something like that, you need to be like 10 steps ahead in the first place.
Right.
So because we are literally programming ourselves to constantly be ahead of the game, so to speak.
We're completely missing out on the now.
Right. Completely missing out on the now. And that's something that requires practice and deprogramming
I mean,
get to.
Both of them require practice. It's just that the first one is instilled in us, whether it's learning how to, argue or debate or, convince, like who practiced debate in school. And so we're trained to rebuttal and to come up with the next reason why your argument is right and theirs is wrong.
Wow, I've never thought of that, but like in that way before. School, stop that.
Yeah.
Unless you're becoming president. I mean,
Have you thought about teaching people how to listen and take a moment and respond versus cut people off and granted debate, those you actually have the talking stick,
right.
so to speak. Not a real stick. And you have the mic.
It's not a real stick. Okay, that's
Well, I
disappointing.
mean, if you're in a circle, like with your,
Okay.
seance partner or whatever, not seance.
Is it though? Is it though? Y'all tell the truth.
But during an actual debate, no.
Yeah.
That would be fun though.
That would be quite hilarious.
But yeah, so I think that when we take time to actually think about ourselves in this context of not having the next day promised to us, that can also aid us as a tool to really figure out like where your decision's based out of. What will you miss? What are you afraid of missing out on? Where is it more important to dive deeper into, to put more energy towards?
I'm going to go out on a limb here and we're going to have an exercise. Exercise. Not only just for ourselves, but also for you to partake in. So I want you to take out a notepad, your phone. I don't know if you're a lot like me, but I do everything on my cell phone. And I want you to write down, what is it that I want to accomplish in this life? Start with 5 things. Don't get all crazy on me. Start with 5 things, right? Before I exit planet Earth, I would like to accomplish these things, right? And then I want you to start with the very first thing that you wrote down. And I want you to ask, next to that, ask the question, why was this first on my list? Right? Because the whys matter, just like we spoke about before. And then after you've identified your whys, then I want you to write an action plan. And as I mentioned earlier today, you can go into ChatGPT and you can do this for free. You can do this for free.
You don't need to pay a subscription for it.
You don't need to pay a subscription for it. If you can't think of how to write these next steps down, on your own, guess what? AI is available to help you with this. It's wild. But if you can, go in and start making an action plan. If your very first thing was, I want to go to Fiji. I've always wanted to go to Fiji. That's actually one of mine. What's holding you back, right? You have your why. Now make your action plan. Do I need to save up every paycheck? Do I need to put $5 away every paycheck, right?
For the next 25 years.
For the next 25 years. But start setting your goals. Start action stepping towards those goals, right? Because I am willing to bet out of the potential fast food that's being eaten, or the
alcoholic
the Amazon
beverages
shopping, the alcohol, right?
The coffee at Starbucks.
You can find a way to save money, right? You can find a way to make that goal happen. Because I've never met a person, no matter how broke they are, including things that I've been able to accomplish as broke as I was back in the day. If you're determined, right? This is where we go back to the determination factor. When you are determined enough to do something, you will get it done.
And welcome to manifestation.
Right.
You know what that took me back to was high school and middle school, when I would write down like my 5 and 10-year goals. And you know what? As an adult, I haven't done that in at least 2 decades.
Yep.
And what a travesty.
Yeah.
Because it's so helpful. Because right now in my life, I've kind of been at a place where I'm like, okay, well, what direction am I going? Like, I'm just kind of like flapping in the wind here. And so it's what else do you want out of this life? What else do you want to experience? What else is important to you?
Yeah.
So just a little encouragement. Maybe daydream a little bit. What would you do in that scenario? What would be called to your attention as most important in your life? And then putting energy into that.
And taking the action towards it. Absolutely.
Alrighty, guys. You know what? We're skipping the collective card reading today.
That's what we decided. We just decided we're going to skip right over that. We just hit you with the heavy one, so.
Boom. But we do have some good news stories for you.
Yes, we do.
I'm just pulling out my handy dandy laptop. Little Blue's Clues there. Okay, so first news story. So I wanted to share this one. It was just so sweet, and it just reaffirms my belief in hugs.
Oh, you're a great She's like in the family of hugs. Like, y'all went to school for hugging, seriously.
Well, I mean, I did grow up with my mom, and She's masterful at it. So
You both
I
are.
learned from her. So this story, it talks about hug therapy helping premature babies to develop. So when mothers can't be there, when fathers can't be there, say a mom went into labor early, like six weeks early, and the little baby has to stay in the NICU. They need touch. And this study actually proved that physical touch helps the babies to grow and mature. So development of the physical body is impacted by physical touch.
Ooh, and connection.
So that just leads me to believe, like,
Interesting.
how does that impact us as adults, right?
Well, I mean, just like, I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on YouTube, but I'm going to say it. But you know, the COVID.
You can say COVID now.
Can I?
Yeah, you're not going to
Okay.
get
We're gonna get banned.
no.
Like,
Because we're not spreading misinformation about it.
well,
We're only mentioning
okay.
the name of it,
Yeah.
the
Well,
time period.
there has been a lot more increases in those taking an exit,
We'll say depression.
depression, or experiencing depression. There you go. From the time that we were all separated from one another for that long of a period of time and not having an actual physical connection
Right.
with humans. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. See, connecting with other human beings. Like, I'll link that one again below. But there is such a level of importance with physical touch. And it doesn't have to be like sexual or anything like that. It's just a hug, a handhold. You know, you and I walk with our arms linked.
Yeah.
And it helps not only promote the development of the babies, but they actually watch the babies relax in their arms and like their tight little fists just relaxing. And think about what that can do. I know you feel it when I give you a hug. This
Just great
level
hugs.
of just releasing the stress and being able to relax into that expression of love.
Very true. Oh, I love that.
I love hugs too.
the hug department.
Yes, yes. So I thought that was really sweet. And again, it's just going to continue to promote that loving physical touch.
That's so cute.
One more good story for the day. So I thought this was scary.
Wait, what?
So this story, right, it turned out to be a happy ending. But a young woman, an 18-year-old in Tennessee, was driving down the road and saw a woman that was in a wheelchair trying to cross a railroad track.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And the woman was struggling to get over the railroad track in her wheelchair. So this woman pulls over and decides to help her and try and, get her over the railroad track. She fell twice, I think, once or twice. She fell and then was able to get her back up. And then a train started coming. And literally, like moments difference, was able to get her off the railroad tracks.
Oh my gosh.
And basically, like, prevent her from
having a serious,
physical trauma.
say the least. Yeah.
My
goodness.
So again, guys, that was a scary story.
But it was a good news story because
But it's
somebody
good because
took the time to
somebody
help.
stopped
Yeah.
and recognized that somebody needed help before the danger showed up even.
Wow. That's true.
And so again, like these tiny little moments, we have these opportunities all the time.
We do.
Maybe not on a daily basis where we recognize it, but when we recognize somebody that's needing help, just stop for a moment and just give aid. Like it doesn't have to take long. It doesn't have to take money. It doesn't have to, completely derail your whole day. I'm sure this woman, her day was a little derailed because she was probably pretty shaken up.
Literally derailed.
Yeah.
Literally off the rails.
That was an unintentional
Sorry.
pun.
This is where my mind went. So sorry.
But I think just, again, this is a great reminder that these tiny little moments that are just fleeting, like we can just stop, we can serve others, and it doesn't have to take from us just to give a little.
That's beautiful.
These stories are linked below. So go check them out. And don't forget, like, I love searching for these stories. I think it's so wonderful and uplifting to read these stories, but I also would love it if you come across any in your local area, or if you just happen to see something that really speaks to your heart, send it on our way.
Yeah.
To the email address, contact@lovealwaysself.com.
And you can comment below too. If you're watching this on YouTube and you have the ability to comment down below, please feel free. Drop a link down below.
Yeah.
We read every single comment. So
Awesome. So yeah, just a little love out in the world. It's out there, not a little love. There's a lot of love.
There is a lot of love.
It's just we have to be willing to see it.
It's everywhere, y'all. Speaking of everywhere,
we are everywhere.
we are everywhere. But first, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. It actually helps our channel grow. I promise you, that's the only reason we ask for it.
It spreads the reach for sure.
Yeah.
It's not. Yes, it's nice to have the subscriber count go up, but really we're just wanting to help and lift people up. So that move right there, subscribing, helps us to reach more listeners and share this news of love.
Yes, it does. And we also share a lot of content, some shorter clips of this episode and some, freebie information here and there on our social media platforms. So if you're not following us over there, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, and YouTube Shorts.
I like your little Vanna White move.
Do you like that?
Does anybody know who Vanna White is anymore? Oh, you know what? The age group that we generally talk to. Yes, they do.
There you go. Hey, welcome aboard. We have a website, lovealwaysself.com, and you can also contact us through our website. All that information's listed there. It's a good time.
And when we have card readings, our decks are on there as well. Check out our Amazon site or our Amazon shop on our website at lovealwaysself.com.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Great day today.
It was good.
Yeah.
All righty, guys. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And don't forget to love first.
Love last.
And love always.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, listener, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this moment. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to our next connection.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to stay notified of new content from Love Always Self. If you have any questions or topics you'd like for us to discuss, please hit us up on any of our social media platforms linked in the show notes below.
I'm Karista.
And I'm Shyra.
And until next time, remember to love first,
Love last,
and love always. Love Always Self podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only. We do not make any warranties about the completeness, reliability, and accuracy of the information presented in this podcast. Any action you choose to take upon the information in this podcast is strictly done so at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of our podcast. Any and all medical concerns should be addressed with a licensed healthcare provider, as well as any questions that may be derived from the information discussed in this podcast.